Good morning, folks. Good morning. You heard that little sniffle here. I don't think I'm coming down with a cold, but it's just morning. It's just one of those things you got to go through as you start your day. I've had a little bit of water, but I probably need to drink a little bit more. Moved over a little bit this morning. Let's move this camera up. Alexandra 0098, welcome to this morning's scope. Hopefully this camera's coming in clear. I looked at the video from yesterday, and it looked like the quality wasn't there yesterday in the image, so I'm not sure. I'm going to go ahead and jump on in the scope this morning. Folks will join as they come online. As always, I appreciate everyone for coming on. Alexandra, I'm sorry, I can't communicate back with you in Russian, so I'm sorry. Hopefully we'll find a way to communicate in the future, or if we can't necessarily communicate in the same language, I appreciate you jumping online nonetheless. I'm Kofi Ford, coming to you again. This is actually day 25. I had my count off yesterday. Don't know how that happened, but this yesterday should have been day 24, even though I labeled it day 23. And today is day 25. The good thing is, because I'm recording all of these and uploading them, I can see the progression of the day. So today should be day 25. I was shorting myself a day. I don't want to do that at all. So welcome. I wanted to talk this morning about, we've been talking about retirement. I took a detour from that the past couple of days. Want to start moving back in that direction using kind of a framework of a blog entry that I had about the three different types of income. I think some folks, looking at retirement have to look at the amount of income that they have coming in to set themselves up for retirement. Well, I'm going to Nico 961. Welcome. I think I missed a couple other folks who joined in. Forgive me for that. But love to see where you're tuning in from. Send me a message. Let me know where you're joining from, especially if it's a first time for you joining. If you want to put new and your name, love to send you a shout out. But I'm excited about this morning. Actually, I wrote this blog a little while back, and thought I had some very good information in it. And because we're talking about retirement, what better than to share with you some ways you can actually generate some income to make sure that you've got money that's set up for your retirement, right? As well as show you some things that, although you may be working a job right now and the income will stop from the job, you've got some avenues that are available to you to continue the income even during your retirement. Okay, so there are three different types. Let me go ahead and talk about those, because I keep saying I'm going to keep these scopes down to 10 minutes, and I've yet to do that. So three different types of income. First one, active income. Second is passive, and the third is interest. Okay, so we've got active income, passive income, and interest income. Okay, active income. You probably know this income type very well. If you're working a job, this is how you get paid. You trade hours for dollars. Okay, you've got a certain amount, a certain hourly rate, whether that's $10 an hour, $15 an hour, $50 an hour, $250 an hour. Doesn't matter, but you've got an hourly rate. So if you sit behind a desk, if you're a surgeon, some kind of doctor, if you're an attorney, whatever the case is, you get an hourly rate. And if you go and trade in the hour, you get paid for that hour. But you don't work that hour, you don't get paid as well. Okay, so active income simply means that you're working a job, and on that job, they pay you a certain hourly rate. And that job could be working for an employer or a job working for yourself. Doesn't matter. So you're either W-2 or 1099. I guess that's the simplest way to say it. If you make income from a W-2 or from a 1099, you got active income coming in. Now, you may be saying, "Oh, well, no, I don't do either of those. I'm a real estate investor. I understand that world. I'm a real estate investor as well. Well, if you're a real estate investor, if you are actively flipping houses where, you buy a house, you work on that house, you fix it up, you put it back on the market to sell it, or you're a wholesaler where, you get the house under contract, you sell it on contract to other investors for a profit. That's the same thing. That's an actively generated income. And all those basically mean is while you are active, you generate income. As soon as you stop being active, as soon as you discontinue what was generating the income for you, the income stops. And this is the model that most people know. This is the model that, is talked about, for all the different avenues that we've discussed for the pension plans, for the 401k plans, the savings that you're going to be doing. This is what people know about when it comes to preparing for retirement. Now, I'm going to talk about two others that you may not be as familiar with. The second one I mentioned was passive income. Okay. This is the money that is generated from something that you've already done. You set it up and the money now starts to come in month after month, year after year, however frequently it comes through. It starts to come through because you did something once and you set it up and now it generates that money ongoing. People who are in the recording industry understand this very well. Okay. Novelists, those who write books, they understand this very well. But again, if you're working a job, this is not something that you necessarily would see in your day-to-day life. So music, if you have, if you're a writer, these types of things, these types of careers, this is the way you generate passive income, or you're at least familiar with it. You may call it royalties. Actors understand this as well. But basically, you did something. It set up a revenue stream for you where you generated residuals from the activity that you took. If you're in network marketing, same thing. All those industries set up something for a long-term income stream that comes in month after month, without having to continue to do the work. That's the big difference. Okay. That's the huge difference, I think, in this case. So now I go out, I do something, I work hard, I set up a revenue stream, and I move on to something else. But this revenue stream that I've set up over on the other side where I was continues to produce. And, if you're in the record industry, it's album sales. Michael Jackson's Thriller album, still producing income for him, even though he's no longer living with us. The actor, you got an actor, Denzel Washington, has made many movies. When those are replayed, I saw Glory came on TV the other day. They're still generating revenue. Dave Chappelle, in his show that is on Comedy Central, Dave Chappelle show, it's still playing. He's got DVDs for the seasons of that show. It's generating revenue for him. The network marketer who has a customer who is using the electricity service or the natural gas service or the television service or who buys products, whether it's vitamins, shakes, whatever the case may be, makeup, hair products, doesn't matter. That person as well made the sale or got the relationship, referred someone to a service, referred somebody to something that could save them some money or something they were already doing. And now they've got an ongoing revenue stream, which is why that industry is so big. Maybe we'll get into that, in another broadcast. But that's the way you generate a passive income. If you're in the real estate world, these are rentals. You buy a house. And you get someone to move into that home and they continue to pay off the mortgage and you get a little bit of profit on that property month after month, year after year. It's a passive income stream, a residual income stream. And depending upon, the nature of how that money is generated, it could be something that generates not just in your lifetime, but into the next lifetime for your kids and for their kids as well. So it's a very, very strong avenue that's available to you to generate income. The last one, interest income. Now, folks in this category usually have names like Rockefeller. They've got names like Kennedy. They've got names like Koch. These are folks who are leveraged in the stock market, leveraged have investments out there that generate a return for them year after year after year. So their money now is going to work for them and earning interest out there in the marketplace. And it returns for them income that they can use in the way of dividends. Now, I tell you something. The money that comes to you from interest is taxed at a much lower level. I think capital gains is like 15% or something right now. So I don't know if you are, looking at your taxation issues or the challenges associated with that. I tell you, if you work a job, number one, you are paying the most in taxes of all categories. Bottom line, W-2 earners pay more in taxes than anyone else. So I tell everyone, if you're generating all your income from an active stream, especially if it's a W-2, you got to find something else that's going to generate some additional income for you. I've mentioned this on many scopes in terms of having an additional revenue stream. I'm going to reiterate that again. You got to have a second stream of income. I'd love to chat with you about some ways you can do that. I think I'll be getting into that one day on these scopes, but I'm doing these things in order here. We're staying in this vein of retirement, but I'm thinking about your retirement when I say all these things, because, in the end, you've got, if you're working a W-2, if you get a W-2 and you're working a job, you've got a finite number of years you can actually work. And you're probably, on the way getting there, and what the job does basically is drain you. I mean, let's be honest. You're trading time. You're literally trading the time you have on this earth for income. Okay. So it's a finite amount of time you really have the energy to do that, where you simply can't do it anymore. And if you're doing it from a W-2 position, remember when you get your paycheck, you have seen some subtraction from that already, because the IRS has come in first. They tax you heavily on that, and that's why I say, if you look it up, you're paying more in taxes. It's the worst way that we have available to us anyway, of the three categories that I mentioned, to generate income. Passive income is a much better way of doing so. But if you're actively generating income, you want to go to a 1099 way. It's more the way contractors or business people generate income. If you have something on the side, this is the way I would tell you to do so, whether or not it's in real estate or network marketing, or doing something on eBay, or selling books online, referral services, whatever the case may be. I've got my preferred methods of doing so, but I definitely recommend doing something that generates a 1099 for you. Second way would to have some passive income coming in for you as well, where you don't necessarily have to do the work per se, but you set it up. I think the reason why network marketing is so interesting to folks is because you can generate income both actively and passively. I think that's why so many people, millions of people, as a matter of fact, get involved with network marketing every single year. If you don't know a lot about the industry, the numbers are absolutely staggering. I think it's generating over $186 billion worldwide. Absolutely phenomenal industry. I love it. I think you'll hear things from Robert Kiyosaki and Donald Trump where they espouse to it and talk about how great it is as well. So it's no surprise that the industry has people like that talking about it because of what it is available. Unfortunately, I think you get a lot of bad press from that industry because there are folks who get involved and have the wrong expectations on what's going to happen to them. But not here to necessarily go into that. We'll do that at some other point. And of course, the best way, and this is the way that everyone should be looking to. I'll talk about Robert Kiyosaki's model of ESBI one day. You got the employee, the self-employed, the business owner, and the one who is an investor. and the route that he says to take. You can look that and see, why am I doing that? You can look that up on YouTube. Look up Robert Kiyosaki, type in cash flow quadrant, and watch the video because he goes through a phenomenal explanation of it. Read the book. I absolutely recommend that as well. He does a phenomenal job explaining why you want to be over in the I quadrant. And if you can't be there, you want to be in the B quadrant, where you produce a system that will generate revenue for you. So maybe we'll talk about those at a very high level, but I highly recommend everyone watching a video on YouTube about it to see him explain why it just makes sense to not work a job. In any case, the last one I said, of course, was the interest income, and this is where you want to be. This is the way the wealthy generate their income. I mean, they set up something, they buy the investments, and they leave those investments to their kids. And those kids now live off the dividends of that income and then pay the lowest in taxes for it. So here you may have, millions of dollars of stock, billions of dollars of stock. But because the money is an investment, the federal government will tax you at, I believe it again, it's at 15%. So all the dividends that come through to you, to your family, how you set that up for generations to come through, and folks live off of that money. I mean, that is the absolute best way to do it. So you want to get to a point where you do have the income coming in, where you can actually buy investments. Now, what happens? Let's say you do that late and things move along slowly. You're a W-2 employee. Well, you can do these things on the side. You set up a system that generates income. You get started with something. You start investing, and now you set up something where you got some passive income coming in, as well as some interest income coming in, even while you're retired, where you may have a pension, you may have a 401k, so that becomes a revenue stream of income. And then you've got something that's generating income as well that you set up in advance, whether it's coming through passively, or whether it's coming through from interest, and that can pay you and fund you additionally during retirement. And even the business side and the investment side, the great thing is the interest that comes from that. The great thing is you can set that up where you can leave it to your kids. And now you've set up a wealth stream. You've set up generational wealth that can come through long after you're gone. Now, I love the scripture that says that a good man leaves an inheritance for his children's children. Unfortunately, the W-2 doesn't put you in the best situation to do so. But if you delve into more the passive side and the interest side, you can definitely set yourself up to do that. So create something for your retirement, create something for your children, create something for the next generations, just by making a decision to do something additional, to bring in an additional stream of income. I'm looking forward to jumping into more of this. None of these, I know these topics are not glorious and having people jumping out of their seats, but there's a ton of information coming forth, and I hope you find it helpful. I hope you find it, something that makes you look inward and really think about where you're going, how you're setting yourself up, whether or not you're prepared for retirement. Because that's where we are right now still. I think I'm going to jump back into the 401k and move into the self-directed IRAs tomorrow. But I do hope that, again, you're finding this useful. Love to hear any additional topics that you'd like to know. You can feel free to shoot me an email. I got to start to get some placards so I can have this displayed to you so you can see this. But you can send me an email at kofi@kofiforwardonline.com. Again, that's Kofi, that's K-O-F as in Frank I, at kofiforwardonline.com. Share with me your thoughts on the topics that are coming forth, and any additional information you'd like me to cover, or any future topics, especially in the area of retirement, pension, 401k, all these different tools that you have available to you, real estate, network marketing, business, investments. I'm not going to give stock advice. That's not, the area that I practice in. But if you want a layman's term, if you want layman's opinion of stock, I can give you that. But of course, you can get that from Uncle Ray, anybody on the corner. Quick story. It just came to mind when I was talking about investments. One thing that I learned, a quick story, one thing I learned when it comes to investments, everyone out there, I don't care if they work for John Hancock, I don't care what company they may work for, Schwab. In the end, all they're doing is giving you their best guess. Or what they're doing is marketing to you a portfolio that they've been told to push to their investors. I remember I rent to someone about a stock. I had been looking at it for a long time. I was excited about it. And the key was I was excited about it. Okay. I've been watching the company for a while, went to someone who was an expert in the field. And this has happened multiple times. Went to an expert in the field, asked them about their opinion of the stock. And they gave me a no purchase opinion. Don't get into it. You don't want to do it. You're going to lose a lot of money, et cetera, et cetera. Now, this has happened at least twice, okay, to me, where I've done this. Different people that I went to for advice, but they were all, experts supposedly in that field. Don't you know both of those stocks went off? I mean, absolutely killed it in the marketplace. And I missed it. Right before it happened, I was right there with the opportunity to get in before the stocks took off. I know one is trading for 5 times the value that it was when I was first looking at it. You miss the boat, and all of a sudden things completely change in terms of how much you can actually invest in to get into it. Now I'm in both those stocks now, but I missed the windfall early. So be careful of whose opinions you take is really the lesson in that story. And this can be applied to stock, but this could also be applied to so many other areas of your life. The jobs that you take, whether or not you start something new that you're passionate about on the side, whatever the case may be. If it's something that drives you, if it's something that you're passionate about, it's legal, it's not going to harm you in any way, why not? Why not? We all lose money. We all do it. That latest and greatest product that you thought was great, the money that you blew in a weekend just to have fun. I mean, we all do it. So don't get held up there. But, the worst thing you can do is buy somebody's opinion and they're not worth it. They don't have the stance to really give you that. When you buy someone's opinion, you buy their lifestyle. And if it's the lifestyle you want, great, go for it. But if it's not, take a step back. So let me stop there. Hopefully I stayed as close to my 10 minutes as possible. I know I went over. I don't know why I even say 10 minutes because it never happens. But in any case, I will be back at it tomorrow. Hope to see as many of you as possible. I love that you all watched the rebroadcast, the replay. If you have been going to my Facebook page, this will be back up there too. I'll be loading it to facebook.com/Kofi Ford, as well as to my YouTube site. As always, I appreciate everybody for tuning in, and I hope you all have an absolutely phenomenal day. Look forward to chatting with you further, and I'll see you online tomorrow. Take care.